In a quiet village, nestled under the vast African sky, legends whisper of a night when the moon hangs full and bright, and a mystical fox, shimmering with an otherworldly glow, roams the land. This is the story of Amari, a boy whose curiosity would lead him on a journey that would change his village forever. From the window of his small hut, young Amari's eyes were fixed not on the stars, but on something far more captivating. There, at the edge of the village, stood the great Baobab tree. But this was no ordinary night. The ancient tree pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, its source a mystery that tugged at Amari's heart. He had heard the elders' tales, stories of the glowing fox and the tree that mirrored its magic. They spoke of it with a mix of reverence and fear, a warning to all who might be tempted by its otherworldly beauty. At the heart of the great Baobab's glow was its fruit. Unlike any other, this fruit shimmered with the same light that bathed the tree. It was said to hold immense power, a promise of unimaginable riches and endless life to whoever was brave or foolish enough to claim it. Over the years, many had tried. Greedy chiefs, boastful warriors, and cunning merchants had all been drawn to the Baobab's luminous core, their hearts filled with desire. But none had ever returned with the prize. The forest, they said, protected its own, and the glowing fruit remained an untouchable, dangerous temptation. The elders warned that the fruit tested the heart, and only the pure could withstand its allure. For the greedy, it was a beautiful trap. One night, Amari saw it, a flicker of light darting between the huts. It was the glowing fox, its fur like spun moonlight, its eyes like twin stars. It paused, looking directly at Amari, then turned and trotted towards the forbidden forest. The warnings of the elders echoed in his mind, tales of a dense, mysterious jungle where spirits roamed, and the path could vanish in a heartbeat. But a force stronger than fear pulled at him. It wasn't greed for the fruit, but an insatiable curiosity, a need to understand the magic that danced just beyond his reach. Taking a deep breath, Amari slipped out of his hut and followed the shimmering trail of the fox into the deep, whispering darkness of the forest. The forest was a different world. The familiar sounds of the village faded, replaced by the hushed secrets of the night. Towering trees formed a canopy so thick that the moonlight struggled to pierce through. Yet the fox's glow was a steady beacon in the gloom. As Amari ventured deeper, the path began to twist and change. The air grew heavy with enchantment. Suddenly, the forest floor dissolved, and Amari found himself standing not in a jungle, but in a treasure-filled cavern. Mountains of gold coins, sparkling jewels, and gleaming artifacts were piled high around him. The fox sat atop the hoard, its glowing tail swishing. A voice, smooth as silk and ancient as the stones, echoed in his mind. "All this can be yours, little one. Wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Just say the word." The vision was so real, so tempting. Amari could feel the pull of avarice, the desire to own, to possess. But as he looked at the glittering pile, he thought of his village, of the simple joy of sharing a meal, of the laughter of his friends. He saw the faces of the greedy men from the stories, their lives consumed by their desire for more. He looked at the fox and shook his head. "Wealth that is not earned is a cage," he said, his voice small but firm. The cavern of gold shimmered and dissolved, and he was back in the forest. The fox simply nodded, its glowing eyes seeming to approve. The path continued, and soon another illusion rose before him. He was no longer a boy, but a powerful king on a grand throne. Armies bowed before him, and servants rushed to fulfill his every command. The voice returned. Power, then, the ability to command nations, to make the world bend to your will. This too can be yours. Amari felt the intoxicating rush of authority, the feeling of absolute control. He could command the rains to fall, the sun to shine. He could conquer lands and build empires. For a moment, the fantasy was overwhelming. But then, he saw the fear in the eyes of the people who bowed to him. He saw the loneliness of his throne, the heavy weight of a crown built on dominance rather than respect. He thought of his village elder, whose power came not from a throne, but from wisdom and the love of his people. Amari stood up from the illusory throne. True power is not in ruling others, but in ruling oneself, he declared. The grand hall and the bowing armies vanished like smoke. Amari stood once more on the forest path, facing the glowing fox, which seemed to dip its head in a gesture of respect. He had been tested, and he had chosen not the path of greed, but the path of the heart. With the illusions shattered, Amari felt a profound sense of peace. The fox led him not to the glowing fruit, but to a small, clear spring bubbling from the roots of the great Baobab. The water itself seemed to hum with a gentle energy. The fox lapped at the water, then looked at Amari. Understanding, the boy knelt and drank from the spring. The water was cool and sweet, and as he drank, he felt not a rush of power or the weight of gold, but a quiet clarity flooding his mind. He understood the cycles of the forest, the language of the animals, the rhythm of the earth. He didn't receive power over others. He received an understanding of his connection to everything. The glowing fruit, he now realized, was not the prize. The journey itself, the choice between greed and wisdom, was the true test. The spring was the real reward. When Amari returned to the village as the sun began to rise, he was different. He walked with a quiet confidence, his eyes holding a depth that wasn't there before. He didn't carry gold or wear a crown, but he brought back something far more valuable. He shared the water from the spring, which had lost its glow, but not its clarifying power. He spoke not of magical treasures, but of the importance of community, of finding wealth in kindness and power in humility. He taught the children the language of the birds he had learned, and showed the elders new ways to read the land for planting. His story spread, and the villagers listened. They began to see that true prosperity wasn't something you took from the world, but something you built with your community. The legend of the greedy quest for the glowing fruit was replaced by the story of Amari's journey of wisdom. His humility became his strength, and his wisdom, the village's greatest treasure. From that day on, the great Baobab tree no longer glowed with a dangerous, tempting light. Its fruit became ordinary, nourishing the village in a simpler, more honest way. The mystical fox was never seen so clearly again. Some nights, when the moon is full, the elders say you can still see a faint shimmer at the edge of the forest, a flicker of light vanishing into the shadows. It serves as a quiet reminder of Amari's lesson, that the greatest treasures are not things to be possessed, but wisdom to be shared and a heart that chooses kindness over greed. The legend of the glowing fox lives on, not as a tale of temptation, but as a story of enlightenment, a guiding light for the village for all generations to come. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and share for more tales that illuminate the spirit.